Hey everyone, welcome to another Miniature Painting 101, a series of videos where I teach you all about miniature painting, whether it be trolls or human or anything. And today, as requested by you guys, I'm going to be teaching you how I paint troll flesh using this Troll Bloods Impaler from Hordes. An awesome model, tons of skin, let's go. So today I'll be using primarily P3 paints from the Privateer Press people. I'll be using Troll Blood Base, Troll Blood Highlight, and Underbelly Blue, but I'll also be using two shades from the Citadel range, Carroburg Crimson, Drakenhoof Nightshade, and there will be a optional step later involving Frostbite. But still, let's start with Troll Blood Base. So I give it a great shake as always, you gotta give it a good shake, and I'll put it in my palette. The great thing about the P3 paints is they're actually really thin and they have amazing pigment in them. So that means you don't need to thin them down. I know you guys are so used to thinning down paints in this series of tutorials, but no thinning down with P3 paints. So you can see, nice flowing consistency. And now it's time to put it on top the miniature. As you can see, I primed the miniature black because we're going with nice grayish blues. So I wanted to start with a nice foundation of black and do it over that. Gray would also be a great color. But I just want to show some contrast in this tutorial, so I'm going to go with black. And as you can see, even though it's quite thin paint, Troll Blood Base goes over the black primer with relative ease and will establish an awesome foundation for the skin tones. And what you're going to see is, throughout this tutorial, I'll be using Troll Blood Base as a, no pun intended, a base color and adding several colors to it throughout this video just to have a nice flowing of colors on the skin and some great transitions. Troll Blood Base is such a great color. As you see, I'm going to use it in many steps and combined with a lot of different colors. So right now I'm just nice and evenly putting it on top of the skin areas. There's tons of skin areas on this model, and the key is to get a nice solid foundation. If after a single coat you see that there's a little bit of gaps in the paint, feel free to apply a second coat. Just make sure that the first one is completely dry before proceeding to the second one. You don't want to accidentally crack the paint on skin tones. It just doesn't look very nice if you crack the paint on the skin areas. And just painting all over the belly part. And for the belly, I'm actually going to show you two different color schemes. I'm going to show you one color scheme for the flesh and one color scheme for the chest area, because I noticed that in the trolls, in all the pictures of the trolls from in the army books and stuff, you notice that the stomachs are a lighter tone than the skin. So I'll be showing you both tones in this Miniature Painting 101. But first, got to get the foundation color down. Troll Blood Base. Perhaps I should have used a larger brush, but it's okay. So now that it's finally dry, I'm going to take a Drakenhoof Nightshade and apply it to the entire skin areas because we're going with grayish blues. A blue shade is great for this case. I did thin it down. I used a 1-to-1 mix of Drakenhoof Nightshade and water. That way it's not too strong of a shading to the areas. And then I just applied it to all the skin tones. That way it gets some nice definition. And as you can see, there's a lot of definition on the face and the arms, the chest area, the legs. There's just definition all over the place. And we want to make these things really do stand out. And as always, if you're unhappy with the shading after a single shade, feel free to apply a second. Make sure the first one's completely dry before proceeding to the second one. And it just took this was a much quicker step since shades are always really fast to apply. They do take a little bit longer to dry, especially in a humid area that I live in, but it's okay. And after that was dry, I went over my first highlight color with Troll Blood Base once again. That way there's not too extreme of a gap between the recesses and the top color. So I just want to do a quick overbrush over these skin areas, leaving the recesses the nice Drakenhoof Nightshaded Troll Blood Base, and just building up a nice skin tone above them in the raised areas. As you see, I'm basically just using an overbrush technique over these areas. And next, I created my own shade by doing a 2-to-1 mix of Troll Blood Base to Carroburg Crimson, which creates a very thin purple paint, which is an intermediate between a shade and the base color, and it's great in consistency. As you can see, it's very thin, and what we're going to do here is we're going to just apply it to certain recesses, such as the eyes, the mouth, and the muscles, and that way it'll add a nice purple tone into the recesses and just give, as I said, the skin a purplish tone, because the trolls for the Trollblood army are not only the bluish gray, they also have the nice purple tones to them, and this is an easy way of applying the purple tones very quickly and effectively into these areas, and you just choose whichever ones you want. I just want to highlight the muscles, make it look a little stronger, and the gaps between the fingers, and that way they just really stand out. But this color also works really well with the Draken of Nightshade, so it creates a nice variation in skin tones all over the Trollblood model, which works really well and creates a great effect. Yep, and just adding in more to the recesses. As you can see, it's not too strong of a tone, but it does add that nice purplish Trollblood color into the recesses. And then next, I added a 1-to-1 mix of Trollblood Base and Trollblood Highlight, and I used that as my next color to build up the skin tones. So this one I just went further away from the recesses and just picked up on the higher details that were further away from the recesses, and just to build up a nice gradual gradient of colors from the dark Trollblood Base to this skin tone. And after it was done, I added just one more color into the mix, which is Underbelly Blue. So now it's a 1-to-1-to-1 mix of Trollblood Base to Trollblood Highlight to Underbelly Blue. And then I just use this color to pick up on certain details such as the eyebrows, the top of the mouth, the tops of the fingers that the light source was hitting, and the top of the legs that the light source was hitting. And that way we built up a really nice gradient of colors, and the skin tone is basically complete. But as I mentioned before, the stomach area of Trollblood models is much lighter than the skin tone. So now that we're done the skin tones, it's time to focus on the stomach area. And as you can see here, now there's a great gradient of colors, and it's a really nice gradual transition from the dark recesses to the purples to the lights. So now onto the stomach. First, I did a 1-to-1 mix of Trollblood Base and Underbelly Blue, and once again I was working my way away from the recesses, so I started at the peaks. I basically treated the stomach as a robe that I did in the previous Miniature Painting 101, and I started off the peaks and then worked my way slowly towards the recesses, obviously stopping short of them because I wanted the recesses still to be that dark purplish color. So now we're just going to build up lighter colors on the raised areas of the belly and the pec. And then after the base coat, next color, I just did a 1 color, the Underbelly Blue just by itself. And as I said, with these P3 paints, you don't have to thin them down, and I'm just working my way away from the recesses and building up a lighter tone towards the middle of the stomach. Now the next step after this is optional. This is a pretty nice color if you want to finish here, but I wanted to just take it one step further. So after I'm done the Underbelly Blue, I'm going to do a 1-to-1 mix of Underbelly Blue with Frostbite, which is a white with a slight blue tint to it, kind of like Reaper Ghost Blue that I really like so much. And once again, I just focus towards more of the center areas of the muscles. And after this step is done, it is a nice gradient of colors, and the belly is nice and light, and that is basically, I think, a very nice representation of the Trollblood scheme. And that's it. So now you know how I painted up the Trollblood flesh colors, and I think it just turned out really nice. It's a great gradient of colors, and it definitely looks very Trollbloody. Very much so. So thank you so much for watching this episode of Miniature Painting 101. And stay tuned for next week's part 37, which is just around the corner, next Monday as always. But if you can't wait for next episode, check out The Warp. Click on the link below to check out a free 14-day trial to my premium YouTube channel, where not only will you get to see the next 6 months worth of Miniature Painting 101 episodes, you also get to see start to finish painting tutorials, battle reports, awesome series called Face Off, and just some awesome wargaming content. So go ahead and check out The Warp. I think you'll really like it. So stay tuned for more episodes of Miniature Painting 101. Thank you for watching this episode. Until next time, this is Jay saying, happy painting, everyone.